Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of EDU 600. We are entering Module 6, which is also week number 6. The pace, if you haven't guessed, has picked up a little bit in the last couple of weeks, and it's hard to believe that we are into week number 6 of 7. So congratulations on making it this far. So as you can see, what's on the screen right now is just an overview of the assignments, what we have going on right now, and what is due in the remainder of our class. So as you can see, we're not even here yet, but for those that have not submitted yet your critique, the quantitative experimental critique, that is due on Sunday by midnight. If you need a day or two extra, please let me know. Just reach out to me. Although I do take into consideration the assignment due date, if you need extra time, don't worry about it. Please let me know. My goal is to help everybody succeed, and if you need an extra day or so, that is fine with me. So please contact me if you need some time. So what we have due next Sunday, which is June 27th, it's hard to believe, is the draft matrix. I'll have a little bit on that coming up. And then we go into week number 7. So week number 7 is the last week that we have. That's really the week that you're going to be writing. We're also there's going to be a little new content, but mostly that week I'm going to try to streamline so you can focus in on the writing of the final assignment. To Module 6, we have 2 parts. Now, don't worry about the 2 separate parts. I can tell you that the action part of it is in part number 1. Part number 2, as you'll see, is on non-experimental group comparisons. So not everybody has non-experimental group comparisons as part of your matrix. So I kind of put that in an optional category. For those that do have research that you're going to be writing about in the final paper, I suggest everybody look at the part 2. Especially those that have non-experimental group comparisons, you might want to focus in on that one too. But all of the work that I'm asking you to do is in part number 1 this week. I'd like you to look at both parts, but part number 1 is where I'd like you to focus. So as you can see from the screen, what we're looking at in part 1 is mixed methods. So early on in the course, we talked about we have the qualitative work, and then we have the quantitative. Mixed methods is really when you're using both. You are doing, just say, the survey work. You're using a Likert scale, which gives you all of the numbers. You can statistically analyze those numbers. That is quantitative research. But it could be part of the initial study. It could be a follow-up study, but it's usually part of the same study. You might say, okay, I get all of the numbers, but I really want to know what the numbers mean and how come people rated this at 3.5 out of 5? How come everybody gave it a 5? Or how come it's a 1.2? You can analyze, you can run the statistics on the quantitative, but it doesn't tell you kind of what's behind the numbers. So qualitative research is used with some certain types of research along with quantitative. So mixed methods is just that. You're mixing the methods. It could be qualitative the first part and then quantitative the second part, or vice versa. So specifically, what am I asking you to do? Well, first of all, take a look at this module video. Understand the purposes and premises underlying mixed methods research, how mixed methods combine both the different types of methods. I'd like you to read chapter 13, and I've tried to streamline this as much as possible for this week and put the action items in the first part. So what I'd like you to do is read this article. This is a mixed methods article, and then I'd like you to critically evaluate the methods, data analysis, results, and conclusions. You do not have to write a dissertation on this. I'd like a pretty concise summary. This will be a discussion post, so what I'd like you to do is read this article, Exploring Out of School Play, and then once you read that, right down here, here's the discussion forum. So there's examples. Here's the research, the actual research I'd like to read. There's a checklist in here. It's the same one that you've seen before. But once again, read the article, answer the questions, and specifically the methods, data analysis, results, and conclusions. Don't have to write a whole paper on that. But I'd like everybody to participate in the discussion forum. Okay, so let me go back here. So that's that. The assignment that I'd like, so we have the discussion forum, I'd like you to participate, and then the assignment that is due next Sunday by midnight. If you need a little extra time, please let me know. But I'd like you to develop a draft matrix. Now, when I say the draft matrix, conceptually what I'm asking you to do is take those 6 research articles and plug them into, in effect, a table. This is the first step in writing your final paper. I'd like you to keep it to 2 pages at most. If you need to go over that, that is fine. And I'll show you an example of a data matrix. There's all kinds of information in here included on Brightspace that you can use, including exemplars. But in a nutshell, that is what I'd like you to do. We have the discussion forum, and then we have the data matrix assignment. The matrix assignment is not worth, it's not a major assignment. I say credit. I think there's one point given to it. That's more just so I can keep track of who has submitted, and I try to provide feedback on that as soon as possible. Number 6, please review all the materials in the second part of this, and it's on non-experimental group comparisons. So you can find that right down here, part 2, part 1, and part 2. And in there, like I said, there's really not much that there's nothing that you have to submit. There's no discussion forum. So let's take a quick look at the draft matrix. So as you can see, here's the assignment. It's due on June 27th, which is next Sunday. And the purpose of this is for me to be able to give you comments, constructive feedback, so you can either revise the matrix or you can use it. This is part of what you submit with your final assignment, but really the purpose behind the matrix is for you to take these complex 6 research articles and put them in neatly into a table to help you organize your thoughts and ideas about writing your final paper. So let me pull up one of the matrix. So what you are looking at is an exemplar, a sample data matrix. This is there's right embedded in this assignment, you will see a blank table. You can develop your own table if you want, but I think it's easier if you just use the actual table that's in here. So what you're going to do, here one student has taken, they almost fit it into 2 pages. I don't know why it says 3. I think there's just an extra page there. But this is exemplary. I've had students that it takes 6 pages. I really would prefer if you could put this assignment into 1 or 2 pages. And the reason for that is it kind of forces you to just put down the facts. What I remember writing this paper many years ago, and what I ended up doing was taking this matrix, putting it up on the wall, and trying to see patterns, how I was going to write this paper. At this point, you don't have to start writing the paper, and I'd get the matrix or develop the matrix, submit it on the 27th. I'll give you feedback right away, because how you structure the final paper, we'll talk about that next week, and I'll have another video before next weekend on the final paper And also, if I can, I'll get a separate discussion going for anybody that wants on the data matrix. So let me walk you through this. As you can see, these are the titles: name of the study, research question, type of research, sampling, the data collection methods, analysis and results, the quality of the study, and then the reason for your rating. So as you can see, this is the name of the study. And I will say one thing. There have been some students that put in here the actual researcher's name. They formatted in APA formatting. And so they have it. Once you have it formatted, that is great. I've also had other students attach at the bottom each one of these references for the study. They actually format them in APA formatting, and they included them at the bottom. So then they could be used in the final assignment. It's not a requirement for this matrix, but I've seen some students do that. So here's the name of the study, the research question. In this case, the research was qualitative, and they used an interview study. Well, they used an interview methodology. The sampling, it was a purposeful sample, and 12 veteran teachers, mostly with advanced degrees. Data collection were interviews. How did they perform the analysis? Thick description. So that's always a key word. You see thick descriptions, it means qualitative. They coded, they were looking for patterns, and so they actually coded the words, certain phrases, the words that the teachers used. Quality of study, they rated it as a medium to high, and these are the reasons why they did it. This is really what the data matrix is. It is not, you don't have to do a lot of writing. You can see there's not a lot of space in here. At best, or at most 2 pages. If you can fit it into one, that would be fabulous. But my experience shows that most of the students need 2 pages. So once again, this is what's due next Sunday, June 20th. If you have any questions on this, please reach out to me. So that is, let me go back. I'm going to go back to part 1. So where do you submit that? It is, I'll cancel that. Right here, I'll click on the data matrix assignment. And now, once again, you see the same material. The matrix, as you can see, is 0.1%. So it really is of no consequence towards your grade. It's more an opportunity to submit them, for you to think about them, put them in a concise, small, readable table that you can use in the final assignment. So that is it. I encourage you to take a look at use the blank template, take a look at the 2 exemplars. If you need additional exemplars or any additional information, please let me know. Including, as we move forward in the last 2 weeks of the class, if you'd like to schedule a Zoom meeting with me, if you want to talk on the phone, you want to do FaceTime, whatever works for you best, I'm here to help. We have quite a bit of work in the next couple of weeks, 2.5 weeks. I pushed the final assignment due date past the 4th of July, which is a little bit different than in the syllabus. So you have a few extra days. I'm sure many in the class would love to have this done by the 4th of July. So we'll talk about that next week. But we're not there yet. Let's take 1 week at a time. This week we have mixed methods and we have non-experimental group comparisons. I wish you the best this week. If you need any help, please reach out to me, and/or if you need additional time on the experimental critique, and/or a little extra time on the data matrix, we can work something out. So keep up the good work, everybody, and I'll see everybody online. Thank you.